to our video series on what is geography. I'm Dr. Heath Robinson. We were just talking about different ways that we can subdivide geography because we said that even if you take the core of geography as a comprehensive and holistic understanding of the entire world, that's pretty big. That's a very big subject, and so we need different ways to subdivide that in order to get at different smaller parts of it. So we had said that the first way that we can subdivide that is by saying we can specialize by place or by region. And we said you get to choose the place as well as the scale of the study if you're interested in geography. Then we also said that not only could you select your own place or region, but you could also select your own subject, a specialization of subject matter within geography. And the three big specializations within geography thematically are human geography, physical geography, and biological geography. And then I gave a number of different sub-disciplines within each one of those, as well as I emphasized the fact that you can talk about connections between those. Just like we don't want to talk about boundaries between different disciplines as far as human knowledge goes, we want to talk about centroids and how they interact. Likewise, within geography thematically, we want to talk about centroids of human geography, biological geography, physical geography, and we don't want to set up any kind of arbitrary distinction. And that lots and lots of studies, very interesting studies, are currently being done in a field that is specifically talking about the linkages and connections between those called human-environment interactions. So that's a very big way that we can subdivide geography. There is a third way. We said there are three major ways. So if the first is place or region, the second is theme, the third is by methodology. It's not enough to just say, hey, we want to study the biological geography of France, or we want to study the economic geography of Germany, or something like that. We've got to have some kind of methodology. We've got to have some kind of technique to conduct that study. So we have developed a number of different techniques within geography for studying different phenomenon in different locations. And so it's possible to subdivide a geography by what particular methodology or what particular technique is used in the conduct of that study. And it's very, very common to find geographers who have a regional specialization as well as a thematic or subject matter specialization, as well as having a particular methodological specialization. So in no particular order and sort of in general and in the round, I want to talk about different methodologies that we have in geography for conducting these studies. The first one I want to talk about is one that I've already mentioned a few times going through here, and that is remote sensing. Remote sensing is specializing in using some type of sensor platform, whether it is space-based on a satellite or airborne or on some other type of platform like that to detect information about the planet. This is a huge specialization within geography. People who use satellites to learn about the planet in some way. If you happen to be someone who is studying something, some phenomenon that can be detected by reflected electromagnetic radiation, you may be in a situation where you could be awash with data because there are many, many different satellites that are orbiting the Earth constantly that are collecting all of this data about the planet. The field of remote sensing is a very technical one. There is a very technical specialization, but there are all kinds of opportunities. There are all kinds of studies that need to be done using satellite systems. And it really is the case that the number and sophistication of different satellite systems or airborne systems or other systems of this kind only become increasingly sophisticated and capable every year. And so this is a fantastic field to get into. It's a fantastic specialization to have that can allow you to discover some absolutely amazing things. Another specialization is geographic information systems. Broadly speaking, geographic information systems is about how do you use computer systems to solve geographic problems or answer geographic questions. And it's really the case that every single year our computer systems get more and more capable, and the kinds of questions we can answer, the kinds of problems that we can solve in geography only increase. every single year. So if you're technically minded, if you're interested in computer systems, this is also a huge field. How do you use computers to solve these kinds of problems and answer these kinds of questions? And many questions, very important questions about our planet, can use computers to solve these questions. Because computers are getting more and more capable, it's probably the case that in some way it will be easier for you to answer that question or solve that problem if you understand how to use computer systems. Geographic data, though, does require considerations that may not be necessary if you're just talking about data in just a relational database or that sort of thing. That's very sophisticated. There are all kinds of things you need to know about that. But then there's another layer that when you're talking about information about the Earth, spatially referenced information, there are all different other kinds of issues that you have to think about. And so if you become a specialist in geographic information systems, then you're really specializing in how do we use computers to store and manage all of this information about our planet, and then use that information and all the capabilities of our computer systems to solve problems, to answer questions. This is a very big field, it's a very important field, and moreover, because many other disciplines have questions they want to answer or problems that they want to solve that have this spatial location, this geographic location as a particular variable, whether it's political science or geology or urban and regional planning or environmental engineering or environmental policy, or I could go on and on and on. Those specialists in that particular domain have geographic questions to answer, problems to solve, and so it's very often the case that specialists in that particular subject matters need to have some kind of background or some kind of experience in geographic information systems in order to continue in their fields. And so this is a very interdisciplinary kind of thing. When I'm teaching geographic information systems, I engage with the people in all different kinds of fields because they've recognized that this is an important component of their research, of their problems, solving problems, of their answering questions that is essential. And so I think that's fantastic. I love the cross-pollination between geography and this particular technical methodology and all of the other different inquiries in human knowledge. I think it's fantastic. Geostatistics. Here's another. Statisticians study all sorts of things, but there are specific statistical methodologies that are necessary to employ when you're looking for particular geographic patterns or other type of statistical data which has location tied to it. If you're trying to predict disease outbreak, for example, you may want to develop some kind of statistical model about disease in particular locations. The disease obviously has this geographic location, so you can't use statistics, or you probably don't want to use statistics that don't consider location and geography when you're building out your statistical models. You may need statistical techniques that specifically involve location in order to make the kinds of predictions that you want to be able to make. So geostatistics is another huge methodological subfield specialization within geography. Qualitative methods. These are also huge. There are all different kinds of methods that people in geography use when they go out into the field, when they're talking with people, when they're interacting with people, when they're in the location, that are extremely important. Participant observation, sort of borrowed sometimes from anthropology. There are many different techniques about learning what particular people, when you're there, when you're in the field, when you're trying to figure out what something is like, how do people feel about a particular subject. You may need to go there, conduct interviews, and be able to put that together and come up with some type of answer to some particular question based on that field work. These are qualitative methods. They are used all the time. They can discover amazing things. I suppose I'd also like to point out cartography. Lots of people, when they think about geography, they'll say, oh, so you know how to make maps, or geography is about making maps. And that's absolutely true that many geographers are interested in cartography and map making, and so cartography is a technical specialization within geography, within this methodology. How do you use maps to communicate information, the results of studies? and so forth. Whether that is in a printed map, like it's been very traditional for hundreds of years, or if you're talking about cartographic depictions digitally, electronically on the web using different web mapping applications, developing 3D models of different locations and so forth. That's all cartography. That is a technical specialization within geography, and certainly many people do choose to specialize in cartographic production. So those are my three major ways that you can subdivide geography in the round and broadly speaking. You can talk about different places and different regions. You can talk about different thematic or subject specialties, and you can talk about different methodological specialties. And when you put all three of these things together, I call these three things the Geographic Triad, because so many geographic studies, if you want to create one, involve all three of these things. You're going to conduct the study in a particular location. You're going to be studying a particular subject, you're going to be studying a particular theme, and you're going to be using some particular methodology. So really it's when you put together location, subject or theme, and methodology that you've got a geographic study. And so I build, when I'm talking about building research projects to my students, I build it around this geographic triad. And that's why it's so common to find people who specialize in geography to have specialties in every one of those three areas. So if you are interested in getting into geography, then you should develop proficiency and expertise in every one of those three elements of the geographic triad. It has really been my pleasure to create this video series in What is Geography for you. I hope that you've learned a lot. I hope that it's awakened some kind of intellectual curiosity about the planet in you. And who knows, maybe you're the one who is going to go on to answer some of the major questions, solve some of the big problems that our world is having, that we're engaged with as a society right now. I would love to have you in more courses if you're interested in the kind of material that I teach. But regardless, until then, I wish you the best of luck in everything that you're going on to do. And who knows, maybe I'll see you around the planet.